what we have discovered through our research, through working with customers, is that most companies kind of keep a tight control over who has access to performance data. It's either in silos where like the marketing team might know what their performance is and the sales team might know what their performance is and so on, or it's at executive level and not filtered down. We've done research on this a bunch of times. Our most recent survey, we found that 48% of companies, I think, um, restrict access to financial performance data to the C-suite and owners. And then below that, there's also restrictions on who sees the rest of the company performance. And there's so many reasons why companies do this, why owners, C-levels do this, but most companies are still operating like it's 1911 and they're still operating off of the scientific management principles, where it's, like the manager's job is to do the thinking and the people's job is to do the work. They just haven't figured out the only way to let everybody do the thinking is to let everybody have access to the data so that they can think in an informed way. So like that's kind of our mission, is to really make data approachable. The hard part of that is that data is hard. The numeracy, like the math version of literacy, right? Numeracy in general in the world, and especially in the US, is low. Most people are not comfortable doing relatively simple math. That, I'm an engineer, so I can say to me it's relatively simple math. They're not comfortable with that. They're not comfortable thinking through systems about inputs, outputs, and outcomes and putting them together and understanding correlation and relatively, again, straightforward statistical approaches to analysis.
Well, it's a lofty goal because it isn't just a platform adoption. It's almost a change in shift in mindset, right? Of how you lead businesses or how you allow people to help with your company. If I'm a decision maker for a company.
I knew enough about the performance of the business, the goals of the business, the vision of the business to sit there in my job and make an observation that marketing agencies could be resellers for us. And that would help us reduce our customer acquisition costs. And that would help us increase our growth rate. That would maybe help us improve our retention because these marketing agencies have more incentive to make the customer or the client successful. I was able to observe the pain points of the marketing agencies so that we could help them, and we had a good pitch to them. But I wouldn't have never been able to make those decisions or assert that idea or introduce that idea unless I understood the dynamics of the business and what was possible. So I think, in order to enable that innovation, transparency needs to be, a number one core part of a company's culture. I write about this a lot. Somebody in my comments the other day told me that they had a manager that would constantly tell them that they don't need to know that. So they'd ask a question about something, inform their own insights or decision, or just be motivated to do something. And the boss would constantly say to her, yeah, they don't need to know that.